I guess we should go to NXT now before we get in too much trouble. Remember when this was the program we liked the most of all the wrestling? Because
I do remember those dark days, yes.
Yeah, we got some wrestling and it made some sense. We could see some guys have some matches and, well, that's all over with. This is embarrassing. And I'm going to try to enumerate some of the things that we saw just to warn people that if you were thinking about watching NXT, record it, find Steiner, and then burn the recording afterwards.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Beyond the main event scene right now, which has Ziggler and Rude and Ciampa and, of course, Rex Steiner, beyond that, the rest of the program, don't you think Dave McClain should sue?
Yes.
Tell me, is there any wrestling show ever that has been as influenced by Glow as this appears to have been?
This is a parody wrestling show. It's not really to be taken in any way seriously as even modern wrestling. This is a parody of modern wrestling. They're mad because the audience for NXT that they had was too old. Too old for the demo. We all know what those demo people do when they stay up late on Wednesday nights. But that's the reason for it was because it was the only program that people who have grown up with and seen real professional wrestling could stomach to watch to get their wrestling fix. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't even great, but it was okay if you were a wrestling fan, whereas the other shows are not. So they fixed that. They made sure that no wrestling fan would ever want to watch this program again. It's insulting. It's insulting to people in the business. And it's not the talent's fault. They're doing what some idiot's telling them to do. It's just the fucking idiot that's the loose nut behind the wheel is the cause of the car crash, not a bad motor. The first match on this program was the Dusty Classic Women's Tag Team Tournament. Cora Jade and Glamour Girl Gonzalez, Raquel Gonzalez, who had a cool kind of badass look like the big female Diesel bodyguard type of thing, is now soft and feminine. And they wrestled the odd couple team of Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai. Did you watch any of this match, Brian?
I did, actually, and I had to see finally Wendy Chu in action after hearing you talk about her, but also I was shocked because I had it on mute because I hate the commentary. I didn't realize it was Dakota Kai until, like, in the middle of the match, I saw her face. From the looks of her, from the hair and the back, I thought it was a different person.
You used to like her, didn't you?
I thought she was good. She was good as a babyface and good as a heel, yeah.
Still feel that way after seeing this match?
I don't know if she's just embraced the 2.0 philosophy or what this is, but I'm just glad that these two, who obviously are trying really hard, will be there to represent Dusty Rhodes in the finals of the Dusty Classic.
Well, now let's mention, I think we've missed the obvious. Everybody's wondering, how is Cody Rhodes going to debut? Is Cody Rhodes going to debut? What's Cody Rhodes going to do in the WWE? But the fucking answer's been right here in front of our faces. He's going to hit the ring in NXT and defend Dusty's honor. He's going to beat up everybody in this Dusty Classic Tag Team Tournament and say, stop bandying my father's name around with this tomfoolery.
They should just turn NXT over to Cody. I would watch it every week.
Cora Jade started with Wendy Chu in this match. Cora Jade looks like she's 12 years old and she carries a skateboard around, just so you'll know. And Wendy Chu, of course, as we know, wrestles in pink, furry, full-body pajamas and furry bunny slippers. And they did a spot where Chu did a drop down and Jade jumped over. And by the time Jade come back off the other side, Wendy Chu had gone to sleep because that's her gimmick. So Cora Jade tiptoes in the ring past the sleeping Wendy Chu to tag Raquel Gonzalez and says, shh. See, everybody, shh. It's like wrestling in a library now. Everybody's got to be quiet. Raquel Gonzalez comes in and tiptoes over to the sleeping bunny and tries to drop an elbow, and Wendy Chu moves. Or she chewed and then she moved. at the last second, and I moved too. I fast forwarded. I'm not. How do you call that? One tackle, drop down, go to sleep? Fuck. So this is just embarrassing. Then, did you have any other comments on this contest?
This is modern wrestling. Every promotion needs a mascot, unfortunately.
Well, they got one now. So next was remember the Creed brothers, Julius and Brutus Creed, as they're brothers, they're shooters, they're greener than chlorophyll. They got something, but it's a long way off. Well, they go to the parking lot, and there is the Creed brothers in the parking lot, surrounded and covered up by crowbars and lead pipes or whatever that they've been beaten with, and they're selling like they're doing backstrokes on dry land. Did you see that?
Oh, yes, I saw that, and all the wonderful people that ran out there to save them, including Roddy Strong just running around in the background for some reason.
And they still were doing a backstroke on dry land. That was their selling the vicious attack that we didn't see by the people that we didn't know, but they left all the implements that they used laying on top of the victims. Next match was Tiffany Stratton versus Don Henley's daughter, Fallon. Fallon Henley. The next match, no, actually, it wasn't a match. It was a package on Andre Chase and Chase University. He's in his Letterman sweater. He's giving a lecture to whoever the fuck. And this, I wrote, is the absolute worst of 1990s Vince McMahon. He didn't learn from Dean Douglas. Then, did you see Carmelo and Trick at the barbershop?
Of course.
Now, I've got to admit that I fast-forwarded through this because I thought it was a commercial for a movie or something, and I was trying to find the next NXT programming, and then I realized, wait a minute, I recognize one of those guys, and I backed it up, and it was Carmelo Hayes and his friend Trick at the barbershop with a bunch of unidentified guys. Nobody was getting their hair cut, but everybody was bullshitting like they do at do guys bullshit at the barbershop these days like they used to back in the days of Mayberry, North Carolina, and Floyd the Barber?
I'm sure that they do, yes, of course.
How would that happen? I haven't gotten a professional haircut in 2 years now. 2 years last month, as a matter of fact. But previously, before that, for the previous 45 years, I got a haircut about once a month. And whether it's great clips or whether it's sports clips or whether it's a clip joint of any kind, I've gone in, I've put my name in, I've had my name called, I've been set in a fucking chair, and I've had some nice woman with varying degrees of talent cut my fucking hair. I have never once brought 6 to 8 friends along with me so that I could talk to them instead of getting my hair cut.
It happens. I don't do it either. I've never brought a friend to a haircut, but it happens.
Well, this was long and boring, and they talked about a ladder match at WrestleMania. Something new, finally, that we've never seen before. A multi-man ladder match. All righty. Now we come to the part of the program I know you watched, Brian. Lashing Out with Lash Legend. It's a talk show. And I thought that actually Lash Legend was indeed Wendy Williams, just under a presumed name, but I've heard that Wendy Williams has bad health, so Lash Legend must be trying to audition to take over her show.
Oh, I don't know. She seemed like the second coming of Dick Cavett when I was watching.
Oh, well, Dick Cavett wouldn't have come the first time with this programming, I'll tell you that. He would have stayed home. He would never have come to this program. It was a fake talk show with a Wendy Williams wannabe doing scripted lines in front of a fake audience who were obviously getting cues at every time that Lash Legend or her guest, the Lioness Nikita Lyons, every time they said something, the fake audience would do fake, ooh, like they do in the audience of all these fucking goofy talk shows that bored housewives with nothing to do all day that aren't getting any dick at night sit and watch. And it was fucking embarrassing. And I don't know why that certainly they didn't just book Lash Legend to do a talk show, having never heard her speak or not even trying to run one of these up the flagpole and see if anybody saluted it. So I can only assume that some of these comedy writers in this company think that this woman is doing a good job at this. This was fucking rotten. I know the overall theme is the F word that you're never supposed to use in wrestling, fake, and I never used that word. I fought people who used that word to apply to my business, professional wrestling. But whatever this is fucking fake, and it deserves to be called that. They didn't mean anything they said, and they didn't deliver it well to boot. There's no acting here. Nikita Lyons may be a fighter and a martial artist and a belly dancer and a fucking, dog whisperer. I don't know what all her talents are. But she can't act and neither can Lash. And it didn't do either one of these girls any good. And then they got face-to-face standing up, and Lash Legend said Nikita Lyons had boob implants in her ass, I think is what she said. And the fake security freaked out and made funny faces. What'd you think? You liked it. Tell the truth.
No, I did not like it.
You love bad shit like that. The worse it gets, the better it is for you.
I do like bad stuff, although this was not the good type of bad. It was the first time I've seen Lash Legend after all the weeks of you talking about her. So I had to see what this was, and they bring out Nikita. Nikita made her debut a couple of weeks ago, impressed, I don't want to say everyone, but a lot of people.
A lot of people talking about her.
Great looking girl. I then, in the week since then, see videos people have been sending me. Apparently she's a musician. She has music videos. She has songs. It's like, oh wow, this is a talented person. I wonder what they're going to do to capitalize on the fact that she could sing and she does martial arts and all of this. And this is what they did. They put her out there in a horrible segment that people laughed at.
Let's figure out the one thing she can't do and make her do that. That'll show her.
This was so fake, excuse me, Jim, but this was fake. And this was bad. It was stuff like this, the girl sleeping in the ring. That's what made me think, watching this is Glow. I'm watching modern Glow wrestling, and that's NXT.
Yep. Yeah, you are, Lance. Well, let's move along, shall we? The next match, a last man standing match. LA Knight versus Grayson Waller. Again, I like LA Knight. He can work. He's a classic style wrestler. He can talk his ass off. He's got a line of bullshit a mile long. He's in good shape, looks like an athlete. Everything they do with him is rotten. Either he's getting beat like a drum, like a dusty rug, or he's involved in some fucking this last man standing match. Oh, and by the way, now they've got a thing on NXT where, like the other programs, they get the match, the entrances. Then they go to a break. On the other side of the break, they have a promo in the back from completely unrelated people while you know that the match is standing in the ring, but you got to watch this before you can see the match. And that was Briggs and Stratton, the Lucha Suits, and Carmen Electra doing some more fake shit. And old Stratton there is still letting everybody know that he hadn't got laid yet, but he's working on it. Fuck me. Then they come back to the match. I mentioned last man standing. No DQ. Lazy booking. They jump-started it in the aisleway. They fought on the floor. They got a garbage can out. And this just before the break. They come back from the break. They're fighting in the crow's nest high above the fucking arena on this little tower thing. And LA Knight nails Grayson Waller, and he takes a bump off of the top of the tower, but just kind of a shitty, like I'm falling, and off camera. And it's not in the view of the people in the arena. It just falls behind the tower. So LA Knight does like the done with him and walks back to the ring. And here comes Grayson Waller's big stooge in the suit, carrying him like a damsel in distress, like King Kong holding Fay Ray, like he caught him coming down off the fucking tower, carries him back to the ring. So then the stooge stops LA Knight, and as they're about to, already they fought in the back, and the guy took a death-defying bump, and they've got the garbage cans out, and they've got the chairs or whatever. They've got handcuffs, actually look more like leg irons, and they're about to handcuff LA Knight or leg iron LA Knight to the ropes or the post or something, when they break in with an audio report from Mackenzie Mitchell in the back. Yeah, the Creeds are hurt and they can't wrestle tonight. Well, they can't wrestle any fucking night, but is that the place to give us that news when they're about to chain a man to a ring post, do who knows what to it, but that's the time. We got to get this important update about the guys that got fake jumped in the parking lot an hour beforehand. So they got that in. Somehow LA Knight turns the tables and cuffs the stooge to the ring post and then beats up Grayson Waller and picks him up and throws him bodily over the top rope, and he lands on a table on the floor and goes through the table to the floor. That's not the finish. Because then he puts Grayson Waller in a garbage can and hits the garbage can 5 times with a chair, then takes the chair and hits the handcuffed stooge 4 times, then clears off the announcer's desk. Why are you clearing it off? Don't want the guy to get bruised when he lands on the corner of the monitor?
That's right.
You know, at least there used to be a reason. The guys would, and it was told on TV, the guys would clear the monitors off because, hey, the guys don't want to pay for this expensive television equipment. They're clearing off the breakable electronics. That was actually a shoot.
I always thought the easy out was have the commentators move them. Oh my God, my producer's yelling at me in my headset. Let me get this. There you go.
I've done that a time or two, but that requires quick thinking and forethought. So he clears off the announcer's desk, but Grayson Waller hits LA Knight with a blackjack. But it wasn't even a sock with a toilet paper roll in it. It was something that they made to look like a legitimate gangster's blackjack, and therefore you couldn't really see the shot, and it wasn't really very picturesque. And he put LA Knight on the table. Then he climbs all the way to the top rope, and LA Knight is kind enough to lay there on the table and not move. And Grayson Waller does an elbow off the top rope out onto the fucking desk, and they go through the desk, and Grayson Waller wins. So LA Knight gets beat again. Glad I never see any matches with all these tables and chairs and things, because it would get old quick if you did. But fortunately, that's never done.
LA Knight's really impressive, but I don't know what this match was. And then when the guy fell off and then the other guy caught him and carried him to the ring, I said, why am I watching this? What has happened to NXT? Is this Shawn Michaels, the booker? What is this?
I think Shawn Michaels is doing what they're telling him to do as best I don't know why he would book anything like this. He was a jack off in his day, but he didn't just completely just ass off with everything. It was just him assing off with the people he didn't like. The Tony D'Angelo gimmick is even more 1990s Vince McMahon than Andre Chase. I mean, you've got all the classics in it. You got Joe Pesci, you got Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, the Wise Guys, you got
Angelo Savoldi.
They ought to have Tony D'Angelo stand out front of, I don't know, Little Italy in Baltimore. Take him to Baltimore. Put him out in front of Sabatino's. He's the maitre d'. But he does numbers on the side. Another Dusty Classic match. Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai against Catanzaro and Carter. And by the way, the Toxic Attraction girls are watching all of these matches because they're the tag team champions. So they're going to face the winner of this tournament. And they're in the back in their lounge area where apparently they lounge with male strippers. With the shirtless, with the bow ties on, and they're serving the wine and the champagne and everything. But now, in this segment, their male strippers have been attacked and beaten up and replaced by their wrestlers, I guess. I don't know who the fuck they were, but they were dressed up in the male stripper outfits, and they've taken over. But they never did anything. They just wanted to be around Toxic Attraction. Cora Jade and Mandy Rose had a fake fight in the back, and a bunch of the strippers, the male strippers, separated them. And then Indy Hartwell and her partner, who the fuck? What's her name? The Persian Gulf?
I don't remember.
Persia. Her name's Persia.
Oh.
Persia Parada. Indy and Persia are continuing to have issues having this fake argument about their fake boyfriend. And they're not happy. Nor Grumpy, Sleepy, Doc, Dopey, or any of them. Tiffany Stratton is an 80s Valley girl, 40 years too late. And I'm sure Vince remembered, ooh, grody to the max. In 1983, I was calling Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson Muffy and Sissy.
The Valley Girls.
The Valley Girls. The Tag Team Championship of NXT was on the line. MSK taking on Marcel Marceau and Fabian Forte, the other two members of Imperium, not named Walter/Gunter. Imperium are great wrestlers. They don't have a standout look or any discernible personality. They're two bald-headed guys that, by the nature of the gimmick that they've been given, are told to be fairly colorless because they're the military-type stooges of Walter or Wunter or Galter. Walter Gunter. Gunter Walter. It's Walter Gunter Walter. MSK look and wrestle like indie outlaw goofs. So they had a match, and at the climactic point, the injured Creed brothers came in and suplexed and beat up everybody in the match while still trying to sell their injuries from the fake attack earlier, while they had 3 strips of black trainer's tape on each one of them that looked ridiculous. And did you see them? They come in, they beat everybody up, and they're still holding their injured arm next to each other after they beat everybody up.
They're great at selling.
Couldn't sell pussy on a troop train. Then this was really bad because John Wayne Gacy and his cohort Harlan Sanders, the tattooed guy that doesn't speak, were in the back doing another fake promo with 2 guys named Draco and Quinn. And did you hear Gacy? He's really hamming it up. He thinks he's a fucking Golden Globe winning actor. Or did you listen?
I don't think I took this off mute because I don't remember what he sounded like or what he said.
Well, there you go. And guess who's coming to A-Kid? Guess who's coming to NXT?
A-Kid.
A-Kid. I thought they had 25 of them already. But they got more now. A-Kid is coming to NXT. What is A-Kid? Why is he the kid of A? What is it about? I've heard of the Colorado Kid. I've heard of the Rawhide Kid. But what's the A-Kid?
I don't know. I don't think I've seen him before.
Maybe he's the offspring of the A-Team. But wait, there's a new winner of the fakest promo ever done. Kushida and the Goof with the Jacket. Not only was this fake, but it was the double whammy. It was the most racist promo ever also. Is there a group of people that look out for Japanese Americans' rights?
Of course.
How does this fly on national television when they have these guys go out and talk like the worst racist, guys and girls, racist, stereotypical, Hop Singh looks like a goddamn astrophysicist next to any Oriental personality on WWE television.
I can't add anything to that. I didn't watch the promo with them. I didn't care.
Well, we got to the part that we were desperately trying to get to for the NXT title. It's a three-way, but we like all three of them. Ciampa and Dolph Ziggler and Break Steiner. And this is what I wanted to see all along. I don't want to miss Steiner. Ciampa and Ziggler have been fantastic, but we've just described the rest of this program. And guess what time the bell rang to start this match? 8 minutes till 10 Eastern. Even with an overrun, they were going to have under 15 minutes to get in and get out with breaks. I'm like, all right. They started out fast, and it's a three-way, so you can't really say that the match makes a ton of sense, but Steiner stayed with it, except there was one fucking hilarious bobble that reminded me of his dad. And otherwise, you know, the kid, has he had 20 matches now? And he's in there with Ziggler, who's a 20-year veteran, and Ciampa, who's almost and is fucking impeccable, and he don't look out of place. And did you the double vertical suplex? Did you see that? I've seen people kind of do a half-ass version of that before, but I've never seen one guy just stand up under both guys and just take them. And poor Dolph almost went a little bit too quick, but it's not supposed to look pretty when it's something like that. Then at one point, actually, Ziggler and Ciampa got a spot slightly crossed. They did something, I can't remember what it was. It didn't make a lot of sense, and Steiner just came in and leveled Ziggler with a clothesline, so he actually saved him. And then it went to the break. There's no story in this, but everybody was serious, and the shit looked good, and they were taking time to sell most of it. And then, did you see the one part where poor old Steiner got ahead of himself, and it was fucking hilarious, and all I could do was think of his dad.
I thought you were going to talk about this before when you said that he got started too early, but yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, so it was after the break. Ciampa picks Ziggler up for a power bomb. And as he's got him up for the power bomb, suddenly, because Steiner has been down, but suddenly you see Steiner jump up and dive head first straight past Ciampa and Ziggler and land on his face and then just roll out on the other side of the ring selling. I'm like, what in the French fried titty fuck did he just do? And then I realized, the aha moment came. Ciampa had power bombed Ziggler on that after Steiner did the drive-by. And then Ciampa went for his pedigree. What is the fairy tale ending thing or whatever? And Steiner speared him. Steiner saw the power bomb, thought it was the pedigree, goes to fucking spear Ciampa like he thinks he's supposed to, realizes in midair and just dives right past him and just says, fuck it, I'll just roll out. I can see Rick Steiner in the bumps that this guy takes, and in just Steiner didn't make a lot of mistakes when he was starting either, but when he did, it was spectacular and hilarious, and you laughed about it afterwards, and then he'd come back and just mow everybody down and make up for it. And then finally, Steiner hit his finish on Ziggler, but Rude pulled his leg.
No, he pulled his ass out of his pants.
No, that was next.
Oh.
Remember, he pulled the leg first on the finish that he hit. And then that gave Ciampa the chance to hit the Widow's Bell and the fairy tale ending, got a big 2 count. Ziggler was able to make save in the nick of time. And then Ciampa's shit-canned Ziggler, and Steiner had taken the widow's belt and the fairy tale ending, and he's getting up. And as Ciampa goes for the running knee, that's when Rude reached in and was going to pull Steiner out, and Ciampa would hit the buckle instead as he charged past. There's nobody there. The only thing that Rude could grab was the ass, the back waistband of Steiner's tights, and when he pulled, the full moon came out over Florida. He almost pantsed him. His whole ass came out. But the funny part was, again, it reminds me of Rick Steiner. When he pulled Steiner out, he just went backwards, head first, down to the mat or to the ground outside, upside down, in one of those crazy bumps that Rick Steiner used to take when he was the same age as his son, because they were almost indestructible, and it didn't hurt him. It looked dangerous. That's how Rick Steiner got over, is his shit looked so real because he worked completely differently from anybody else. And on offense, he was so powerful, you bought it. And on defense, the bumps were so unorthodox and looked like it should hurt you that you can, and his son's doing the same thing. So anyway, Rude snatches Steiner out where Ciampa runs into the turnbuckles, and then Ziggler hits the super kick on Ciampa. 1, 2, 3. What a fucking finish. And it was boom, 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 just like that. Shit was happening. Everybody was in place, and now Ziggler is the new NXT champion, but Steiner has still never been defeated. So that's well worth watching. But the rest of it is a slog to get there. What do you think of the main event, the only event on this program?
Great action. It's sad that it took a move to NXT to get some great work out of Dolph Ziggler. Not that he isn't always good, but he seems to be really into what he's doing, and how can he not be? He's actually getting a push somewhere. These 4 guys are great. I mean, it's kind of like the problems we say about AEW. You have the tone of a Punk and an MJF, and then the rest of the show. You have the tone of these main eventers, and then there's the rest of the show that they fill up the card with. It doesn't make it so that you want to stay to see these guys. I'm glad Ciampa's still in the main event mix. I'm surprised that he's still there, but they're using him well. He's been on Raw too. And we'll see what happens. They got the belt off Steiner or Braun Breaker. What do they do now?
Well, I mean, I can see where they're going, in that Ziggler and Rude are the 2 best guys on the Raw roster to train and or give in-ring experience to younger guys, more inexperienced guys. Ciampa doesn't need it, but Steiner does to work with guys like that. It'll just get him better that much quicker. So those are the 2 perfect guys to do it, but it would have been nice if they'd have recognized their legitimate talent a while back and not had them floating around where, oh yeah, we'll just send them over to NXT. They don't get 5 minutes on Raw anyway. But they got to feature people in their pajamas rather than Rude and Ziggler.